Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Guys, take a look at the calendar. It's October. And no, I'm not saying that because Halloween's around the corner. I'm mentioning that it's October because what happens in October in the world of politics? The coveted October surprise. The question is, what's it gonna be? Everyone's waiting on the edge of their seat wondering what's gonna happen. I'm sure a lot of leftists are waiting for the next conspiracy theory. What's the next hoax that's gonna take Donald Trump down this time? And my response to those people is, well, I think you might have exhausted all resources at this point. I don't think there's any fuel left in the hoax tank. Honestly, I'm not sure if there's going to be an effective October surprise targeting Trump. But apparently, when it comes to Kamala Harris, it's a different story entirely. There's a lot of skeletons in that closet, I'll tell you that much. We've already covered a lot of it, but it seems as though we haven't even scratched the surface. And of course, you probably get exactly where I'm going with this. It seems as though we might have a little bit of an October surprise here, or at least the start of an October surprise. Folks, this is the kind of thing that can take a presidential candidate or campaign down. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so I first want to start off with this moment. Here's Hillary Clinton at a Clinton Global Initiative event, essentially alluding to an October surprise targeting Kamala Harris. She said this, I think, 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 3.
And I anticipate that, something will happen in October, as it always does. The Russians, as I said earlier, are very active in this election. We know the Iranians are active as well. Chinese uses TikTok, or they certainly did against Biden and for Trump. I think they're a little less pro-Trump right now. So you look at where people get their information, and they get their information largely from social media. And so the campaign is doing the best job it can to combat that. Combat both domestic and foreign false disinformation. But I anticipate there will be a full court press in October. The digital airwaves will be filled. And why does that matter? Because the press that is pro-Trump anyway, oftentimes stories are put on digitally that then are picked up by, let's say, at Fox and others. And then those stories are stories, so the mainstream press reports on them, and so that story then takes on a life of its own. There will be concerted efforts to distort and pervert Kamala Harris, who she is, what she stands for, what she's done.
She suggested that something's going to be dropping, and of course implying that it's just going to be fake news, don't pay attention, and then a couple days later, we get a frickin' bombshell. Look at this story right over here. Kamala Harris's husband, Doug Emhoff, quote, forcefully slapped ex-girlfriend for flirting with another man in booze-fueled assault after date to star-studded gala. The second gentleman, Doug Emhoff, 59, allegedly struck the woman in the face so hard that she spun around while waiting in a valet line late night after a May 2012 Cannes Film Festival event in France. One of her friends told the DailyMail.com that the woman called him immediately after the incident, sobbing in her cab, and described the alleged assault. DailyMail.com is not naming the woman, who is a successful New York attorney, but will refer to her by the pseudonym Jane. A second friend said Jane, who had been dating Emhoff for 3 months, also told her about the alleged violence at the time. A third friend told DailyMail.com that Jane first told her in 2014 that she had dated Emhoff and recounted the full story of his alleged abuse in 2018, when then-Senator Harris was in the news after grilling Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh in a Senate hearing over SA allegations. The friends, who all asked not to be named for fear of retaliation by Emhoff, shared with DailyMail.com pictures of him and Jane together from 2012 and other documents and communications corroborating elements of the story. Holy frickin' moly. This is bad. I mean, this is real bad. I mean, the hypocrisy is just insane. Once again, it's all projection. The left points the finger at us and says, you're a bunch of misogynists, a bunch of women-hating MAGA cult extremists. I mean, even Doug Emhoff himself keeps going on and on with this whole misogynist thing.
Two guys who actually not only don't trust women, but are literally running on a platform of authoritarianism and misogyny. That literally should be their slogan, because that's what it is. So you want, people who literally are outwardly misogynistic in their policies and the way they talk about women and the policies in which they've already enacted and have talked about enacting, or Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. It's completely binary.
And then it turns out that he's an abuser. And it's also very likely that Kamala Harris is fully aware of this, yet tried to shove it under the rug. This could be game friggin' over. I mean, what a joke. The hypocrisy is just insane. They keep promoting this Doug Emhoff guy to us as a soft, supportive man, as the new face of masculinity. I mean, it's the cringiest shit I've ever heard in my life. Jen Psaki recorded this clip with him not too long ago.
Important part, an interesting part of how people have talked about your role here is how your role has reshaped the perception of masculinity. And I'm not sure you planned on that, but you are an incredibly supportive spouse. Has that been an evolution for you? And do you think that's part of the role you might play as first gentleman?
It's funny, I've started to think a lot about this. I've always been like this. My dad was like this. And
Can we just talk about masculinity for a moment? Has being second gentleman changed your own view of perceived gender roles or what it means to be a man?
This is something I've thought about a lot and something I've spoken about a lot. There's too much of toxicity, masculine toxicity out there. And we've kind of confused what it means to be a man, what it means to be masculine, where you've got this trope out there that you've got to be tough and, angry and lash out to be strong. It's just the opposite. Strength is how you show your love for people. Strength is how you are for people and how you have their back and how you stick up for other people and pushing out against bullies. I mean, that's what I believe it is. So every time I can speak against this toxicity, we're seeing it with our younger people, we're seeing it in our discourse, in our politics, in the media, you're seeing it as it relates to so many of the issues that we're pushing back on. So I think it's a problem, and I'm going to continue to use this platform every time I get to speak out against this toxic masculinity that's out there.
This guy's condemning toxic masculinity. They're attacking JD Vance for being a misogynist. Donald Trump, of course, they've been attacking him for years. But look at who these people are. Doug Emhoff, Kamala Harris's husband, is an abuser and an adulterer. It's just insane. I mean, the deception, frankly, the sociopathic nature. These people keep presenting themselves as such a lovely couple, such nice people, and yet look at who they actually are. I mean, for Pete's sakes, look at this photo. Kamala Harris tried so hard to take advantage of the Brett Kavanaugh situation, to grandstand on issues of misogyny and assault and abuse, but the whole while she's married to an abuser. These are bad people, folks. They're bad freaking people. It's like I always say, those who present themselves as the most virtuous, those who pretend, who put on this act as if they're some sort of reincarnation of Gandhi, are the people I tend to trust the least. And at this point, I mean, this should be the straw that breaks the camel's back. How much more lying can you handle? I mean, that's the question I'm asking the public. The Kamala deception became too much for me to handle a very long time ago. But now this, I mean, this has to take it over the edge. How much more deception can you handle? Everything about Kamala Harris is fake. The hypocrisy is just unbelievable. At one point, enough's gotta be enough. These people are not what they present themselves as. Then I think after this October surprise bombshell, it's becoming more and more obvious. It's becoming glaringly obvious. And really the craziest part, I mean, I'm calling this an October surprise, but I don't even know if that's what it is. This could be the appetizer. I mean, based on what Hillary Clinton was suggesting, it could go a whole lot deeper. It could be a whole lot bigger than this. And this, in my view, is already enough to tank her campaign into the ground. The classic scenario with these Democrats. They pretend to be so virtuous and unimpeachable, and time again, they get exposed as total, complete frauds. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.